Greetings and welcome to Reckoned Opinions. My name is Adam. I will be your guide today on this Reckoned Opinions soundbite. I am hard at work at part 10 of the countdown of 90s #1 alternative hits. I filmed the whole thing and then had to throw out every last bit of footage and start over from scratch, which I'm fine. I'm fine. See, this is the face of a person who's fine. So, since it's going to be a little while, I thought I would put together a little something just to hold y'all over. Not that long ago, I was talking to somebody about this project and how I had sorted 145 songs worst to first for the countdown. And the question they had is something I've been asked before, which is, how do you even do that? Where do you start? Where would you start with a list of 145 things? How do you determine why number 126 is better than 127? And the answer is, I have a method. I've been using this for years. It is a lot of fun, and it makes the process so much easier, which is to say it's still hard, but the hard parts are the fun hard parts, if that makes any sense. So I thought I would take a moment to teach y'all how to do a large ranked list the Reckoned Opinions way. So take it downward facing camera, Adam thing. Okay, so there's two things you're going to need for this method. The first one is the important one, and that is blank cards, at least one for every item on your list. You can use regular index cards, that's fine. If you have access to half-size index cards like these are 3 by 2.5. These are really ideal if you're doing a really big list. Now, I'm using blank playing cards today because I happen to have them around and they're a little easier to handle, but really anything that you have is fine. You can do it with Post-it notes, pages from a memo pad, whatever. The other thing that you need, you can actually get away with not having it, is paper clips, but these are going to make your life a lot easier, and hopefully your life will be easier than me trying to find these in the apartment before filming. Only took me about 45 minutes. I hope you're duly appreciative. So, now for the method itself. First thing you're going to do is write down your list on the cards, one item per card. Now, I've already done this. The topic I'm going with for today is 2021 movies that received Oscar nominations either for Best Picture or for one of the acting categories. The 2021 movies for the 2022 Oscars. I hate that you have to separate the two, but there you go. There is 17 of these in all, and that's really a small number for something like this, but it should be enough to demonstrate what we're going to be doing here. Step 2 is you're going to mix these up. And again, this is one that isn't strictly necessary because whether you mix them up or not, you should be getting to the same result at the end, one way or the other. One thing I find when I've written down the cards is that there are some clusters that form of items that are closely related, which is why you wrote them down back to back. And if you break those up, it makes it a little easier to get through the list, and it's a little more fun for me. Now, finally, here's where the fun begins. We're going to take these cards 2 at a time. And the great thing about this method, and I'll tell you this right up front, is that at every stage of the game, the only decision you need to make is, which do you like better, A or B? It's like getting your eyes checked. Which looks better, A or B? So we're going to take 2 cards at random from the pile. Don't Look Up or Spencer. Now I'm going to try to decide which of these I like better. It's really easy. Way overrated. Weird, but good. Okay, so Spencer would be my winner. So what I'm going to do is create a stack with these. And the better of the two is going to be the one on top, facing me, followed by the one that I don't like as well. And we'll paperclip these together so that they remain one unit. Set those aside. I'm going to take another 2 cards. This bit might take a little while. Okay, Nightmare Alley. Nightmare Alley or The Lost Daughter. Again, going to pick the one I like better. Lost Daughter was incredibly intriguing. A couple fantastic performances in there. So that is going to go in front for me. Again, we clip them together. We're just going to go through the whole list. I'm not going to do a whole lot of talking about this. Paul Thomas Anderson, yay. Not a Coen Brothers fan. You see, I said I was going to do this quickly, but I can't keep my mouth shut about this stuff. This is why I have a YouTube channel. So I am actually going to give this to Tragedy of Macbeth because I think the art direction on that is kind of amazing. So there we go with that. Next two, Tick, Tick, Boom or Belfast. I love Tick, Tick, Boom, but Belfast is a masterpiece. Clip them together. Next two, Parallel Mothers or King Richard. Parallel Mothers kind of blew me away a little bit. King Richard is very good. I don't want to say anything bad about it, but that's where it goes. Next two, Being the Ricardos or Coda. Oh, that's tough. I mean, Coda was the winner, obviously, and it's a beautiful movie. But I've got a thing for Sorkin, but I haven't really thought about this one since it came out. Oh, this is the hard part about this method, is even though it's A or B, the A versus B is sometimes very difficult, and it's only going to get worse as you go, as you'll soon see. Yeah, because I haven't really given it a second thought since then, I'm gonna put Coda in front on that one. Okay, next two, West Side Story or The Eyes of Tammy Faye. Eyes of Tammy Faye, one great performance, movie not so great. West Side Story, I don't feel like Spielberg justified its existence enough, but it is well made, so I'm going to put it up front here. Next two, Power of the Dog or Drive My Car. Oh man, I didn't love The Power of the Dog as much as a lot of people did, which was disappointing because I love Jane Campion. The Piano is one of my favorite movies of all time. I am going to go back and watch it because having seen some analyses of it, we've determined that we missed something here. But Drive My Car was just mesmerizing. It did not feel like a 3-hour movie at all. So I'm going to clip those together. Now we're left with one left over, Dune. We're just going to treat this as a stack unto itself. Another nice thing about this is even though you're always doing one or the other, A or B, it doesn't matter if you have an odd number. It doesn't matter if you have an odd number of stacks. But we're getting into the stack sorting portion, and the rest of the procedure from here on out is going to be the same. It's always going to be A or B, but here we're going to be working with some stacks. Now, I've shuffled all these stacks together. Again, you don't have to do that, but I find it easier to just kind of cleanse the brain palette, as it were. So, taking two random stacks here, Belfast or The Tragedy of Macbeth. Take the paper clips off here. Now again, we're at an A or B situation. Now I'm going to choose, or rather you, when you're doing this, you're going to choose the one of these that you prefer, same as you've been doing. But the nice thing is, because you've sorted the stacks in order, and because the stacks are going to be in order for the remainder of this procedure, you know that Belfast is the best movie in this stack. Tragedy of Macbeth is the best movie in this stack. So whichever one you pick is as being the better of these two, is the best of everything that's here. So it can be the new top card in a new stack. You with me on that? So I'm going to choose Belfast, again, masterpiece. So this is going to be the new top card in my next stack. Now I have to choose between Tick, Tick, Boom or Tragedy of Macbeth. Again, I love Tick, Tick, Boom. So that's going to be next. Tragedy of Macbeth will go next, and then we'll go with Licorice Pizza. Now you notice that when we had the original choice, after I peeled off the first one, your choice was between the one that you left behind and the new one that's revealed. It doesn't matter which one of those you pick. You may do 6 in a row off the same pile, especially if the two stacks are of different sizes. And that's another thing, because it's always A or B, it's always just whatever's on top of the stacks. It doesn't matter if the stacks are different sizes. You can have one that's a stack of 12 up against one that's a stack of 3. And it may go A, B, A, B, A, B, or something like that. But it's always just A or B. So let's take another 2. Now here we have the stack on its own. But we're treating this like a stack of 1. And here we are again, A or B. And here we have a problem because I don't know which one to choose. I'm actually going to go with Drive My Car, even though the design and cinematography on Dune is spectacular, because it doesn't feel finished, because it isn't finished. It's part 1 of 2. We haven't seen 2. It just kind of leaves it hanging in the middle. And so Drive My Car will be the top card of this next stack. I'm going to put Dune and then Power of the Dog here. So there's my new stack of 3. Clip them together, pull out another 2. Okay, Spencer Parallel Mothers. Good Lord, that's weird. Okay, let's burn through these as fast as I can. Go Parallel Mothers, and then Spencer, which is visually beautiful. King Richard, some really good acting in that. Yes, even Will Smith. Don't Look Up, overrated. Excuse me, sorry about that. A little phlegm in my throat there. We're going to clip these together and draw 2 more. And you know what? I'm going to be a little controversial here. I'm actually going to go with Lost Daughter over Coda. And then Coda. Oh, Del Toro. I love you, Del Toro, but yeah, I'm a Sorkin stan. I can't help it, being the Ricardos, and then Nightmare Alley, although this has some really wonderful elements to it. And there's our new stack there. And again, we have a stack that we haven't gotten to, a stack of 2. But again, it doesn't matter. We could have put one of the stacks that we just created against one of the ones that's been sitting around, and that it just doesn't matter. So now we'll take these 2. Okay. And you're going to want to go fast on these, but don't go too fast because you can make some mistakes that later you'll be like, what the hell was I thinking? So, Belfast, Lost Daughter, controversial again, Tick, Tick, Boom. Oh, God. We'll go with Coda on that. Tragedy of Macbeth. I love the visuals on that. Licorice Pizza. I do love Paul Thomas Anderson. Then being the Ricardos and Nightmare Alley. New stack. I wasn't aware how dinged up blank playing cards with Sharpie on them get when you put paper clips on them, but here we go. All right. Okay. Drive My Car. Dune, Power of the Dog. As you see, here's the case where I just burned through one stack entirely, and then West Side Story, Eyes of Tammy Faye. There you go. And now we're down to 3 stacks. I'm just going to take this one and this one, like so. Belfast, Lost Daughter. Weirdly enough, Parallel Mothers, I think. Tick, Tick, Boom. Coda. Tragedy. Licorice Pizza. Burning through this pretty fast. I think I'm going to go Spencer, actually. I think I'm actually going to do that. And then Ricardo's, Nightmare Alley, King Richard's, overrated. Okay. And don't even need to clip it now because we're just going to break this one right out here. Belfast. Oh, man. I was trying not to freeze up on y'all here. Lost Daughter. Drive My Car. Dune. I will put Power of the Dog here. Parallel Mothers. Musical versus musical. Let's get all the Sondheim out of the way now. Tick, Tick, Boom. Coda. Tragedy of Macbeth, just because it's so interesting. Wait, there's only 2 left in this one. Okay. Licorice Pizza. I'm going to put West Side Story here. Spencer. Ricardo's. Nightmare Alley. King Richard's, because again, this one great performance. And then that. So here we have our final list. It is Belfast, Lost Daughter, Drive My Car, Dune, Power of the Dog, Parallel Mothers. Am I still on camera here? Yeah. Tick, Tick, Boom, Coda, Tragedy of Macbeth, Licorice Pizza, West Side Story, Spencer, Being the Ricardos, Nightmare Alley, King Richard, Eyes of Tammy Faye, Don't Look Up. Again, these are the opinions of Record Opinions and do not reflect the opinions of anybody else on this damn planet. So, so that's basically what you do. And a couple little caveats on this. If you are going through a list and you are going through a stack and you realize that you put something too high or too low, you can make a change on the fly. The object is to eventually get a list that you're happy with, not to be a slave to the method. So if I got halfway through and realized, oh shit, Lost Daughter is way too high, and I'll admit I'm a little surprised at how high it ended up on here, but I think it's about right. Then you can just bump it down later. One thing that happens is if you do make a mistake like that, it can have catastrophic consequences down the line, because you can have that one that's ranked higher than it should be, but when you see it again and again and again, you realize that it's not that good. So you never get to what's below it, even if what's below it is something that's more deserving. So definitely make those corrections. But one other thing that you can do, and this is something I've started doing recently, is start off by doing a tier list. You know, the old YouTube standard: great, good, meh, bad, awful. And that way you can do each of those tiers sorted separately using this method, and then you just stack them in order. Great on top, then good, then meh, bad, awful. And hopefully that'll work out a little better for you. This is also a lot of fun to do with friends over coffee. Just find a fandom that you all have in common and determine that you have to either have consensus, which is going to have a lot of arguments at every stage of the game, or if it's a big enough group with an odd number of people, then you can leave it up to a vote on each step and see what the collective goodwill has to say. But that's it, and hope you enjoy it. Thanks for watching this, and we will catch you next time on Record of Opinions.